Insta360 has launched the latest addition to its Flow series, the Insta360 Flow Pro. Key new features include native tracking directly from the iPhone camera or any third-party iOS app, 360-degree infinite pan tracking, an upgraded MagSafe compatible phone mounting system, and much more. In this video, we're going to dive into all the cool new features and capabilities of the Insta360 Flow Pro. I'll show you everything you need to know to master it and take your iPhone filming to the next level. Now, you'll find timestamps below if you want to skip ahead or head back to a particular part in this video. Now, when I'm creating content, I love finding new spots like this small little town here in Germany. And for me, having the right gear is key. I want to shoot on the go without losing quality, so a mobile gimbal is always something I bring with me, especially when I'm traveling. I used to use the original Flow during my trip to South America and got tons of great footage. Now, you might wonder if a gimbal is necessary with phones having advanced stabilization. Well, they still help you get smooth, professional-looking shots by adding mechanical stabilization. Even with iPhone's electronic image stabilization, a gimbal like the Flow Pro makes your video steadier and adds extra features, making filming easier and more fun in general. Ooh, it's getting hot. So let's talk about Insta360 Flow Pro's new feature and what sets it apart from other mobile gimbals on the market. So let me start off with my favorite feature, the native tracking. It uses Apple's latest technology called the DockKit, allowing you to effortlessly track a subject with the iPhone stock camera app or any other iOS app. So no more needing a dedicated app. It keeps your subject in the frame and centered. And this is a game changer because I don't have to switch between apps for different functionalities. I can now use the tracking feature on my favorite apps and even shoot in ProRes log. And the best part is once you pair it via NFC, which I will explain in a bit, the Flow Pro automatically reconnects to your iPhone so you can jump right into using the native tracking feature. Now, to use the native tracking, just unlock your phone and hold it near the Flow Pro's NFC logo to connect. Tap connect on the pop-up and you're all set. And when you open up the stock camera app's video mode, it will automatically detect your face and track you. Now, the tracking is super smooth, keeping me in the center of the frame no matter where I move. If I try to step out of the frame, the Flow Pro will re-identify me and keep tracking me. So I'm now testing out the Insta360 Flow Pro as a vlogging setup. I have the extension pole and I'm using the selfie camera on the Final Cut camera app. I have native tracking enabled, so when I move, you can see that it keeps me in the center of the frame. And I also have an external mic connected. This is the Rode Wireless Pro. And the Insta360 Flow actually has a cold true mount where I can mount the receiver. And combining that with the native tracking, I think this is a great vlogging setup. So what do you guys think of the native tracking and using the Insta360 Flow Pro as a vlogging setup? Now, a new feature of the Flow Pro is the infinite pan tracking, in which the camera will follow me around without any interruptions. Now, this is great for filming yourself, online calls, behind the scenes, and live streams where you want to show off your surroundings while staying in the frame. However, the native tracking does have its limitations, like struggling with fast-moving subjects like runners, or when there's an obstruction, so it's best for shooting individual subjects where they're not moving too quickly. Now, if you need to track fast-moving subjects, try using the Deep Track 3.0 in the Insta360 app. Now, currently, the native tracking only works in video mode on the default camera app, but after the iOS 18 update, it will be available in photo, pano, cinematic, and slow motion mode too. You can also use it with apps like the Final Cut camera or Blackmagic camera. The native tracking supports over 200 third-party iOS apps, including all popular ones like TikTok, Instagram, Zoom, and many more, not just the iPhone camera app. Unfortunately, Android users can't use the native tracking feature, but you can still fully enjoy other Flow Pro features that we'll get into in just a bit, and especially take advantage of the Deep Track feature inside the Insta360 app. app. Now, if you're unsure about the tracking status, the Flow Pro now has a new green ring light to provide clear indications. And the ring light remains solid when the Flow Pro is connected to your phone and flashes while actively tracking a subject. And by default, the light is on, and you can disable it in the settings in the Insta360 app. Now, if you want to turn off auto tracking, I can just press the trigger button once to turn it off, and to turn it back on again, I can just press the trigger button again and the light will turn on and start tracking you. So next up, they've upgraded the Deep Track 3.0 to include animal tracking, which is exclusive to the Insta360 app. So now, besides tracking people and objects, you can also track your pets like dogs, cats, and even horses. If you're tracking fast-moving animals, just set the tracking sensitivity to sensitive in the Insta360 Flow app for the best results. Now, if you're wondering about the difference between tracking via DockKit and the Insta360 app, well, DockKit supports tracking human subjects, not objects or animals, and will keep getting better with Apple's system updates. The Insta360 app, on the other hand, uses Deep Track 3.0 for better tracking accuracy, and it lets you select and track people, animals, and objects. So for dynamic environments and quick movements, the Insta360 app's Deep Track will give you better results. And then lastly, we have this new magnetic phone mount accessory sold separately. And what makes this mount special is that it speeds up the setup time and offers more convenience than the included magnetic phone clamp. Now, to set up the magnetic phone mount, start by attaching it to the gimbal and making sure it lines up with this part. You'll need an iPhone 12 or later that supports MagSafe or a MagSafe compatible phone case. Then just use your phone's magnetic surface and stick it to the mount. Now, make sure the indicator line is vertical with your phone and that the camera is pointing in the right direction. And once everything is lined up and attached, you should have a perfectly balanced gimbal. Now, safety tip, if you're planning on doing fast moving or high intensity activities, go with the magnetic phone clamp. The MagSafe accessory might not hold tight enough. For me, since I usually don't shoot fast moving subjects or action scenes, the MagSafe mount works just fine and saves me some time. So these are the new upgrades on the Flow Pro compared to the original Flow, while keeping the same features like the 3-axis stabilization, AI tracking, a built-in selfie stick, a tripod, and the cold shoe mount for attaching accessories. Now, if you want to expand the functionality of the Insta360 Flow Pro, then you would want to use the Insta360 app. This gives you features such as the Deep Track 3.0. So we're now inside the shooting page. To head back to the home screen, just select this house icon at the top left. If you want to head back, just simply select the camera icon at the bottom, or you can also use the trigger button on the gimbal. Over here, we have our resolution, which is set to 4K 25 frames per second. By choosing 4K, it allows me to reframe my shot without losing much quality. And 25 frames per second is great for talking head videos. If you want to slow down your video, you can choose 60 frames per second. Then over here, we can choose between auto and manual camera settings. So right now it's set to auto, but we can also switch to manual. You can dial in your shutter speed, ISO, and also white balance. In general, you don't want to leave your white balance in auto, otherwise your colors will shift while recording. So it's best to lock your white balance and use either one of these presets, or what I like to do is set it to custom and then use the slider to dial in the correct white balance. And I want to make the whites look white and the blacks look black, so around 4,900 Kelvin looks good. So you want to make the colors look as accurate as possible, how you see it with your own eyes. Now, like on the default camera app, you can tap to set and lock the focus and exposure, especially for run and gun shooting. This is a great option. And below you also have your parameters. So currently it's set to auto, shutter speed 1/40, ISO 100. Over here we have our flow settings. Let's tap on that. Up here we have the flow mode, currently set to FPV, but we can also choose auto, follow, and pan follow. And you can also switch the flow mode by using the touch panel by swiping clockwise or counterclockwise. Then we have the flow speed, which is set to medium, joystick speed, zoom speed, and then the tracking sensitivity. So if you have a fast moving subject, I would set it to sensitive. But for now, I'm going to leave it in a normal. Then if you want to track a horse, you can enable that over here. I also have front cam auto tracking enabled. So whenever I switch to the front facing camera, it will automatically start tracking me. Then there's the always on tracking, and I think this refers to the native tracking. So whenever you have the phone connected to the gimbal and open, for example, the stock camera app, the tracking will immediately start. Then we have reverse joystick horizontally and vertically, flow sound and vibration. Then you can also disable or enable the tracking ring light. You can also do an auto calibration of the entire gimbal. Just be sure to place it on a flat surface. And if your horizon is off, you can head over to the horizontal adjust. Now be sure to first check if the phone is correctly mounted on the phone clamp. Then you can select start, and then you can start by adjusting the horizontal axis. So that was it for the flow settings. Let's now head over to the general settings. So over here, we can enable grid, which will help you set your composition properly. You also can enable the histogram. Then we have a selfie flip. So if you film with the front facing camera, after you recorded your video, it will flip that. Then we have automatic pop-up connection. So if you have that enabled, whenever you connect your phone to the gimbal, a pop-up will appear, and then you can just tap on the pop-up and it will bring you straight to the Insta360 shooting page. Then we have scene recognition. So when you're out shooting in the forest, it will show you these shooting templates where you can get some inspiration on how you want to capture a scene in the forest. And we'll get into those video templates in just a bit. Then we also have voice control, so you can use voice commands to start and stop shooting. We also have GPS, quick starting guide if you're new to using the Insta360 Flow Pro, as well as tutorial that will guide you through each step. We also have a flow button operation guide, which will walk you through each of the buttons. Then we have the device type, version, and then at the very bottom, you can also reset your settings. So before I mentioned the video templates, you can find them up here. So tapping on that will reveal different shooting scenarios that you can basically get ideas from. So for example, I like filming outdoors. I could choose hiking trip. If I want to use this template, I can select I want to film. And then over here, you will be given examples of the shot, and you can also swipe to cycle through each shot. And what's also cool is that you can tap on the A, it will show you the target, camera movement, shot type, and shooting guide, which is very helpful. Then over here we have color presets. Currently it's turned off, but you can see you can choose a variety of them. Then over here we have the face filter, which is disabled when shooting in 4K. So let's pick 1080p and now choose the face filter in auto. You'll see, whoa, I got 10 years younger. Then over here we have gesture control. So tapping on it will allow me to either just start recording or start recording and tracking. So let's select that. And by holding my palm up, you'll see that it will start recording and tracking me. And this uses the DTrack 3.0. And if I want to stop it, I can just hold up my palm and it will do so. Now what I can also do is drag a box over my face to follow me, or I can also drag a box around an object and it will track that object. Or I can also press the trigger button and it will also detect my face and start tracking me. So you can see there are different ways to activate the tracking. Then up here we have our indicator. So this is the battery life of the gimbal and the battery level of my phone. Then over here we can switch between the front and rear camera. Then over here you have the record button, or you can also press the record button on the smart wheel. Then below we have our media library, which we can access. Then over here we have our different shooting modes. So right now we're in video, but we have pano, we have photo, we have time lapse, we have time shift, slow motion, dolly zoom, widescreen effect, and even live mode. So there you have it. That is a basic walk through the Insta360 app. So I'm now at a new location. This is a castle, a ruin that I want to film on the Insta360 Flow and my iPhone 15 Pro Max. And I think this is going to look real epic. Now I don't have much time, so we have to get moving. And before, I want to talk a little bit about the performance. Now the Flow Pro runs for 10 hours while the original Flow gives you 12 hours. So there is a slight decrease, but still the battery life is pretty good. I got through the full day of shooting with this gimbal. Plus what's really cool is that I can use the gimbal to charge my iPhone, because filming on the iPhone can drain the battery quite quickly. Now, a lot of you wanted to know what gimbal modes are best to use in what scenario. So I'm going to try to explain to you each mode so that you can use the right mode for the right shot. So first off, we have auto mode. This will automatically adjust the tilt and pan axis, and it's going to set the settings based on your movement. And this can be like running versus standing, and it will adjust its motors accordingly. And most of the time I leave it in auto. So you can see I can pan and tilt up. However, the horizon is locked. Then we have follow mode, which is similar to the auto, where the tilt and pan axis follows your handle movement. However, it is more responsive than in auto. Then we have pan follow mode. The tilt and roll axis are locked, but the pan axis will follow the handle movement. So you can see as I try to tilt, it stays locked. However, when I pan, it will move the camera. And I find this great for orbiting around subjects or objects while keeping the horizon leveled. And then we have FPV mode. In this mode, the gimbal can rotate freely, in which it follows your handle movement in any direction. And this is perfect for getting all kinds of creative shots. And then next we have lock mode. So by press holding the trigger button, it will lock all axes. And this keeps the phone fixed in that direction. And then we have active plus. So by pressing and holding, the gimbal's motors are more sensitive, and this is perfect for capturing fast moving subjects or objects. So with that out of the way, let's get into the shots. So I'm going to start with the first shot. I'm going to create a push in towards the entrance. We have nice symmetric lines, so I'm going to use that as the intro shot. And I'm going to shoot everything in 4K 25 frames per second without slowing the clip down. This way you can see how well this gimbal stabilizes. However, I'm going to keep the internal stabilization enabled. So I'm going to use the ultra wide angle lens, and I'm going to tap hold to lock the focus and exposure. And action. So now I'm going to do a little slide shot, starting from here, and go. So now I'm going to grab a shot of myself entering the ruined castle. And for that, I've placed the Insta360 Flow Pro on the ground, and I'm going to use the native tracking so that the camera will follow me as I enter. So I'm first going to press the record button, and then I'm going to position myself over here, press the trigger button, and now it will detect me, and it's working. Still following me? It doesn't look like it. I might be too far away, but let's try. So I don't think the tracking did that well on the native tracking, so I'm going to try the Insta360 app and use the Deep Track 3.0. I'm going to enable gesture control, use the ultra wide angle lens. We're in video mode, 4K, 25 frames per second. So I'm now going to use gesture control. Okay, and now it should start following me. And it's actually still following me. It is really good. Okay, so let's start from here and action. So I think the last shot turned out much better on the Insta360 app using the Deep Track. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to take a selfie shot of me. So I'm going to extend the pole and I will be using the native camera app. And I think this is going to look really nice. It gives it a new perspective. And with native tracking, it's going to keep me in the center of the frame. Press the record. I think this path looks really nice, and I'm simply going to create a push-in shot so that I can kind of show the path that I'm going. Actually, I'm going to use the ultra wide angle lens and then set and lock the focus and action. This looks beautiful. And while we're at it, I'm also going to grab a close-up of the tree and orbit around it. I think this is going to create a lot of dynamic. I'm going to start recording and go. So this time I'm going to create a push out or push in shot. Let's see what will work better. I can always reverse the shot in the edit if I want to. And the best way to do that is to use the selfie stick. Ta-da! Then I'm going to angle it this way. And I'm going to use the lock mode by holding the trigger button. This way all motors are locked. Then I'm going to put it upside down and a push out. Ooh. So I'm gonna do a little bit more of a complex shot this time. I'm gonna leave the gimbal mode in auto. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start with the camera tilted down, and as I move backward, slowly tilt up the camera. So let's do that. I'm gonna use the ultra wide angle lens. I'm actually going to use the selfie stick for that. This way I have more reach. So I'm gonna use the ultra wide angle lens. I'm gonna tap right over here. I'm gonna start the video. This is the starting position and go. Slowly tilt up the camera. Boom, just like that. So this time I'm going to create a reveal shot and set and lock the exposure over here. And to start recording, I actually wanted the end frame to be this. So I'm gonna lock all of the motors, move down with the camera, and slowly move up. Go. So the next shot will be more of a close-up shot of this part of the ruin. I'm gonna use the 2x, and I'm going to lock the focus and exposure. I actually want to start from here, and go. And I'm slowly rotating the camera just to keep the window in the center. So I noticed this window over there. What I'm going to do is push out with the camera and then tilt up as I do it. So let's do that. And for that, I'm going to use the ultra wide angle lens to fit in more in the frame. This way I can also emphasize more camera movement. I think this is a little bit too dark, so just gonna try to find a middle ground. I think this looks good. Lock it over here, and I'm gonna do it in reverse and go. So this time I'm gonna capture another shot of myself using the native tracking. I'm gonna give it another try. I'm using the default camera app. I'm going to start recording first and then press the trigger button to enable the native tracking. So it's working. So I found another cool angle from here, and we can see that broken ruin from here. For this, I'm going to use the 2x. I'm gonna set and lock the focus on it. And I'm gonna create a slide shot from here. And go, and I'm gonna lock it and action. So this time I'm going to create a slide shot, and I'm going to use the plants as foreground. Again, I'm going to use the ultra wide angle lens. I think it just looks really nice having everything in the frame. I'm going to set and lock the focus and exposure and go. All right guys, so let me show you now the final edit plus the behind the scenes so that you can see how it all came together. Okay, so who is the Insta360 Flow Pro for, and should you upgrade it from the original? Now, if you're into vlogging or creating mobile content or traveling solo, for the price of $149, the Insta360 Flow Pro is definitely worth considering. Now, it's super easy to set up, compact, and makes capturing those dynamic shots really easy. Now, should you upgrade? Now, if you already have the original and don't need the extra bells and whistle, the original Flow will do fine. But if you benefit from the native tracking, which is especially powerful for vlogging or doing vertical content or even online classes or live streaming, then this is definitely worth checking out. Now, I love how Insta360 always strives to make their gimbals better, which really helps change the way you shoot and create content. Now, I want to know from you what you think about the new Insta360 Flow Pro, how you would use it in your mobile content creation. I hope you found this video helpful. It's getting really dark right now, and I have to walk down, and it's kind of creepy. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know below, and I'll catch you soon. I'm just the only one here. Look, it's creepy. Oh, look at the sunset.